Howdy, boys and girls. Today is Tuesday, December 19th. December 19th, if you don't believe me, 2017. Cambridge, Ontario, Canada, planet Earth. A couple of small announcements, so if you don't feel there's gonna be a talking head type of video, so nothing really important, just a couple of boring announcements. So if you feel like sleepy, just go back to sleep. You're not gonna miss much, especially if you are on my bad boys list. Announcement number one: the 2015 Mac CXU613 has been sold. Announcement number two: I am getting a new truck. Announcement number three: Ford Mustang V6 is getting a new 355 rear ends in the next couple of days. Small announcement number four: I'm getting a new camera this Boxing Day, Saturday, which is not a good day in the States, but in Canada it's the cheapest day ever when you can buy like appliances, stuff like that. It's stores open like at 5 o'clock in the morning, and so I'm anticipating some mid-range cameras to go on sale because I had to sell everything to put this truck on the road. And I'm pointing because my truck is in front of me. I'm parked in the back of my truck. So I am getting a new camera, which a lot of people probably don't care about, but that's important because I'm going on a 2 months vacation and we'll keep doing videos every day, maybe 2 a day, so don't get too excited. And I want to visit Florida, and naturally I want to bring my camera, and I want to do a stop in New York City, hopefully on the way down there, because you know how some people say you can't miss it. So I think somewhere in the way to Florida there is New York City somewhere. And that's why I need a camera, because I want to go and shoot some wildlife, some scenery in Florida. And Canada is awful this time of the year, January, February. And I invited my brother from Moscow. I know January also it's bad for business over there, right? Like here, nobody works. And his business is not doing too good right now. Everybody's switching to big stores. Like here, like small stores. Like he's owner of a small coffee and tea store. Not like a coffee shop, but he sells like beans and stuff like that. And it's a small store, and he says recently been very difficult to make money. So I said, why don't you come over? I'm going to Florida in my Ford Mustang. I said it might be a little bit loud for your taste, a European guy, right? Used to tiny motors in their Peugeots and Ladas and stuff like that. So I said, but just bring your earphones, and as we're flying down the road, just use your earphones. Now there was brief announcements over these 6 points. So now you can go back to sleep, because now it's going to be really boring. I'm going to go in some detail over this. Number one, truck has been sold. All of a sudden, last week, I'm coming back from US, with that load, with the counterweights. And my phone beeps, and there's a call from some strange area, which is Newfoundland. 705, 709. And I talked to the guy, and they like the truck. They sent somebody to take a look at it, right? On the next couple of days later. And so today's Tuesday. Yesterday they sent the money. So the truck is, I signed a letter saying that I agree to the sale. And so basically, since the leasing company confirmed they have the money from the buyer, so the truck is sold. Is just now they're trying to figure out why I have like 2 VIN numbers on the And then he keeps texting me, and that's why I came here, because he wanted me to take a picture of the serial plate on the side. And it can be a bit confusing because, Mac told me that I cannot get this truck with the pusher axle installed from the factory. Actual Kenworth, I just came with from a meeting with the Kenworth dealer. Kenworth told me the same thing. He says they can install single tire pusher, with one single wheel on each side, but they cannot install that's the truck I was speccing today, with the mid-roof sleeper, 76-inch, 2 bunks, 880, but black. So he says they cannot install 4 tire axles. And so of course I signed and he says your leasing company has the wrong VIN number, like a 1 digit is wrong. And I said it's because when we signed the agreement with the leasing company, right, for me to buy the truck I had to have a contract in place. And so we ordered the truck, it came in, and because there was a waiting time for that Hendrickson pusher axle, actually, and that's why I prefer to have everything done at the factory, right? So I had to wait 3 weeks. For 3 weeks, if you remember, if you watch my old videos, I was running around like a regular 3-axle truck. And then the shop, Mac shop, which is authorized, they can do, changes, official changes to the vehicle, right? And they installed the pusher axle, and they put in a new VIN plate. They have their own plates, like very handy, to know a guy from this shop. No, anyway, so now I have a bunch of stickers in there, right? And this guy was confused. So which number is... He says, Mac website does not show a pusher axle. So I came to the truck. I'm like getting slightly annoyed. He keeps sending me these text messages, like the guy saw the truck, right? He sent the guy to see the truck. So I took 2 pictures of my pusher axle. One from very low from the ground, so you can see the pusher. I'm not trying to cheat anybody. I have a pusher axle. It's been installed by authorized Mac body shop here in Cambridge, Ontario. So anyway, but the truck is sold, so now they're trying to figure out. So yeah, so now I'm waiting for the money. Once I have the money, I promise them I will take care of that small leak. For some reason, the truck developed a air leak in the air dryer on the driver's side, but it's audible leak, so you cannot drive like that. Yeah. You'll get a ticket. And it just started doing that, so I was waiting. These guys started saying that they want to buy the truck, and I said I'll fix it, right before, as soon as I parked the truck, right after I started hearing that leak, because that was after I delivered or during, whatever. So anyway, so I said I'll take care of it. It's probably just water or ice frozen in that air dryer. It happens all the time with these air dryers. And I said I'll go to this car rental company and I'll clean it myself. But now it's kind of like cold weather. I'd rather use this car rental company. They do detailing inside, so just clean all the carpets, seats and doors on the inside. They get dirty on the dash, so it should just take a couple of hours. No big deal. Oh, and so the buyer is trying to decide what they want me to do with the truck. They said, can you bring it to Newfoundland? I said, well, not to Newfoundland, but I can bring it to the ferry, because you have to take a ferry to go to Newfoundland. I said, I'm not doing that, but I can bring it to you, but that's 2,000 kilometers. That's 1,200 miles. So I said, I'm not going to do it for free. So I gave them my price, and then they say, can you bring a 53-foot drive-in trailer with 2 20-foot sea containers inside, empty? And I said, no. You want me to deliver a load? I'm not doing that. My job, you bought a truck. I'm doing you a favor. I can deliver the truck. Once you start dealing with the load, I double check with Quebec. They said, yeah, if I'm just driving bobtail through their province and I have EFTA and I have my CVR, I don't need to get any paperwork from Quebec because I'm just in transit with no load. But once you have a load, it's a whole other, can of worms. I don't want to get any fines, especially if that trailer is old, right? Like maybe some issues with brakes or something like that. So basically, and now they say, okay, sit tight. Maybe we'll just ask you to drive it to the Ritchie Brothers auction in Bolton. I said, okay. But yeah, Bolton, I can do it for free, no problem. But so now, yeah, I'm just waiting for the money. Once the money from the leasing company is wired and I see it, then I fix the leak. I'll detail the interior, and that's it. Deliver it to where they want me to, and take the plates off, and off I ride into the sunset. Number 2, I am getting a new truck. So talking to Kenworth again. That guy left, who I dealt with. It turns out he did not quit, but he was offered a position with corporate international trucks. So from salesman, he went to some kind of a leadership position with international, like international trucks. So maybe I should have bought I should buy an international truck. Maybe this guy Jim will give me a deal. But he's not a salesman anymore. So now I'm dealing with a guy named Chris. Very nice guy, knows his stuff, even though he's very busy because he's just by himself. And I emailed him this morning. I said, let's meet face to face because we're doing this, via email. It takes forever, and I know he's busy, right? I said, can we meet today just to finalize the spec? And he says, yeah, I'm free between 1 and 2. And as we were sitting there, like his phone probably rang, I don't know, like 5 times, and then finally he looked at the screen and says, sorry, I gotta take this. Can I take this? I said, yeah, go ahead. And somebody was, something important was, somebody was calling him. Anyway, so we were doing this truck, and the problem with the 880 is that, well, a good problem is that it's faster to build by about 3 weeks than T800 right now here in Canada. Of course, every deal is different. And Freightliner yesterday was telling me that Kenworth is lying. They said they cannot build it like that. But he says it's always like that week. He shows me the week, let's say now it's week in, I think it's in January. Yeah, like last week in January. He says that's not when the truck is ready. That's when it goes on the conveyor. So nobody is lying. It's just that you got to understand when they say build date, they mean the start. And of course then it can take maybe like a week to build the truck. And then he says the delivery company has up to 10 business days to deliver the truck. And he confirmed that 880 is built in Ohio, and T800, some of them are built depending on the season, are built in Mexico, some are built still in Ohio, because Ohio of course is the main plant. And I'd rather to have a truck that's built in US than Mexico. Don't ask me why. I don't want to find like a bunch of burritos in the sleeper. No, I'm just kidding. But for some reason I just trust the US built truck more than truck built in Mexico, even though I'm pretty sure it's like my Dodge Ram was built in Mexico, and only once it had an uncontrollable acceleration, just once. The truck just started, no brakes, no gas, nothing, and it just picks up speed. I had to go into neutral and turn off the ignition. I swear to God. But they said it was caused by my tuner, because I installed a tuner. Until I installed the tuner, everything was fine. So nothing's wrong with the trucks built in Mexico, but I just would feel better if, he's spending all this money. I would feel better if the truck is... I think that's my right as a consumer, to prefer one country of origin over the other, right? Like, for example, I wouldn't want my truck to be built in Russia or Ukraine. I like US. And so, yeah, 3 weeks faster. Like, the same T800 would go on a conveyor 3 weeks after this one. Just that Kenworth now is pushing this 880. The problem with 880 is that there's only 2 sleepers. Like, once you go past like 36 or 33, there's 52, not even 56, 52, and the next one is 76. And when the guy put in 76-inch sleeper like I requested, with two bunks, he couldn't fit the fuel tanks I wanted, because it's so funny, like it's interesting like how the computer shows them right away if there's like an error, mistake, you need more room on the frame. And so basically with that sleeper, we had to play with some with that step on the side. I don't know why did he put a step on the side. We can put it on the tank, how you can climb on the top. But anyway, so the wheelbase originally for some reason became 272, and I know that's fine for US, but in Canada I don't want to drive with such a long truck. I said all I wanted was 265, and so we just spent some time there and we found a way to make it 265. So it's going to be 265 wheelbase, 54-inch axle spacing, self-steerable pusher, 46 drives, 20 front. Front end pusher a Goodyear, drives Bridgestone, this 726EL that I like, except it's 24.5. I need to raise the fifth wheel because my trail is 50-inch optimum height for the gooseneck, and so that 24.5 is 1 inch taller, and then he put a 72-inch slider for the fifth wheel. Boy, I like that. And then they're gonna, if everything goes right, they will do the PTO wetline installation at the same drive products where I got one for the Mac. And then they need to install, he says at the factory they install the bunk heater, but they cannot do the engine heater, let's say Webasto 2-in-1 engine plus bunk heater. So he says the engine heater, the other part of this 2-in-1, will have to be installed here, and the fenders, he put in the same minimizer fenders on all axles, and the lights, 2 rooftop LED flashing lights will be installed from the factory. And unfortunately Canworth does not have an option where your lower bunk can be turned into a desk like Volvo does that, but he showed me the sleeper, the same. It was they had a truck inside, not 880 but 680, but he says it's the same sleeper. So I went inside and it's like gorgeous, and they have little tables or like desks they can flip, like when you sit on the bed, and the bottom bunk was like really wide, much wider than one in my Mac, and then this little table here on your right, and then on the left there's another table or desk, and you can actually, there's a little lever underneath and you can turn it towards the bed, and it's like real comfortable. So now I can do my paperwork, and there's space there. I can put my printer. I don't have to take it off and on and put it back on the shelf like I did now in the Mac. And just to give you briefly some specs. So yeah, 20,000 front, 46 drives, 20,000 pusher, self-steer, T880, 76 mid-roof sleeper, 605 horse, 2050 torque, X15 Cummins. I insisted on 4 air horns. I said, I'm sorry, I cannot do heavy haul with just 2 air horns. And he looked at me and he did not know if I'm joking or not. And then he found an option. Yeah, it's just like $100 more, and you can put 4 air horns on the roof. I said, I like that. Transmission is 18-speed Eaton Ultra Shift. No more shifting. The front axle is Meritor. Regular brakes, not disc. Disc is just too expensive. Rear axle, 4:10 ratio. With 24.5 tires, it's the same as 391 with 22.5 tires. Front tires Goodyear, pusher Goodyear G296 425 millimeter, and rear tires are Bridgestone 726EL, the ones that I like. And a double frame, very big slider, which is very important for heavy haul. But I'll probably have to buy a flip box, a gooseneck extension, 23-inch from Fontaine. 2 tanks, Right side is 177 gallons, left side 120 gallons, so pretty much 300 gallons US. DEF tank is 20.7 gallons, driver side. Dual exhaust, vertical, on the side of the sleeper. I never had that one before. Steering wheel, no metal parts, all plastic with controls, like, you know, kind of like a car way, with, you know, your cruise control, your radio, dial hang up, you know, like on your wheel, right? Like it should be. So premium interior, leather seats. It'll have those big, you know, windows, like a 2 feet tall window, like a door. It also opens. Very nice on each side. So lots of light will be inside this sleeper. Cobra 29 CB radio. Quad rectangular air horn, 23/26 inches. Heated mirrors, motorized mirrors. And the lights on this one, the difference between 680 and 880 is this truck 880 has this kind of light. See, like over here, they're, you know, like this, right? On yeah, they look like, see this fender over here? Yeah, they look really nice. So pretty much like this truck, that's what it's gonna look like, you know, with big tires. See, like this one and this one, but this one has very small sleeper. But no air cleaners, you know, you don't really need them. And I forgot to ask him about windshield. Is it gonna be one windshield, or split windshield, or single piece? And that's what the steering wheel looks like. See? Just like Peterbilt. So no metal on the steering wheel. Okay, what else?